Now, can I ask Salman? Can I ask you to join the conversation? Salman Abu Sitte is speaking to us from Gaza today. Salman, you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Diana. Yes, I'm speaking from Gaza Strip. I came here on a visit after several decades of absence. My home is Al Ma'in. It's only 1 kilometer away from the barbed wire around Gaza Strip, and I can't go there. And I spent my life talking about calling for right of return. But this is the story of all Palestinians. Now, I came here to meet you tonight from my family's house to a hotel because I could not trust the power. It could be cut anytime. As you know very well, uh, the Gaza Strip is the temporary refugee home of 247 villages on the southern part of Palestine who lived in almost 50% of Palestine. Now they are living in 1.3% of Palestine. It's the biggest concentration camp in the world. It is surrounded by Israel from all sides. From here, the east side, the tanks and uh, patrols are going on every day. I see them. And from the sea on the other side, almost 200 meters away from me, and they are patrolling the sea in ships and by air. As I'm speaking today, I hear the hum of the drones over our head, non-stop, non-stop. I wake up at 3 o'clock and I look in the window. I hear the drones over our head, watching us, photographing us. Not only that, this actually causes a lot of distress for children. I visited the health clinic here, and they tell me there is a big problem with children. In the last 2, 3 days, there were F-16 sorties over our heads here, probably planning for a new attack. Now, they were not talking about history of a Nakba. We're talking about a Nakba live on TV, if you like. A Nakba live. It's unbelievable. Many years, as you know, in London, I talked about Nakba, but here I see it on a different scale altogether. The, reaction of people to planes going over their heads any moment could actually kill them. I have seen buildings reduced to rubble, and not only that, I have seen buildings destroyed by choice, like a bomb is sent to a flat in a building, and then a call came to the owner of this flat saying, we're going to kill you in 10 minutes. Leave or you'll be killed. And they do that. There are pictures of bombs not only erasing multi-story buildings, but also apartments within buildings and so on. Now, this is in the news. Now, what is unbelievable is that this is the story of Hussein Mustafa Taha, who was born in Mi'ar, 1921. He's talking about the British planes in 1936 to 39, who was 15 years of age. The first time ever, the British Royal Air Force bombed Palestinian villages who were revolting against the influx of Jewish settlers from Russia and Poland. And in this period, 1936 to 1939, Britain destroyed the fabric of the Palestinian society. They actually, I estimate, they injured or killed 50% of all other population in the what's called now the West Bank. They dissolved all parties and they they did everything possible to destroy Palestinian fabric. And that's what I call 1939 is the British inflicted Nakba. Ben Gurion found it easy. He did it 10 years later. But let us go back to Hussein Mustafa Taha. He says the British plane attacked us from one village to another, and the British came to our village, blew our houses, suspecting that rebels or Athwar were among the village people. But this same man, Hussein Taha, says that in 1948, the Israeli planes were chasing us, and they have to go to escape from these planes. They went after us, so we have to go from Suhmata, and the planes followed us. We went to Dir al-Qasi, then the planes went after us, and then he continued till he went to Lebanon. Now, this saga is unbelievable in world history. We're talking about 85 years, not 73 years, 85 years of the enemy attacking Palestinians by planes, among other things, continuously for 85 years. This is not a story of a Nakba. This is a Nakba live, continuous. I have witnessed it here. I hear it now, right now. I wish you can hear the drones day and night. I could not sleep at night. Now, it's not enough for them to attack Gaza every few years, 6 times in the last 6 years, but they are showing their presence every minute. We are here. We could kill you. A phone call comes to someone, we'll kill you in 10 minutes if you don't leave. Or tell us about your neighbor. Is he there? We are going to kill him now, right now. This is unbelievable, unbelievable, unbelievable. We're not talking about Nakba. So the story recorded in the book, which is admirably collected by Diana and Mahmoud, is only a drop in the bucket. I mean, you know, when you see things here, you hear people telling you stories right now, you reflect back in 1948, you reflect back in 1938, what the British did, and of course, before that Balfour Declaration, you can see this is the longest war against a people in the world, over 100 years in 1917. It's continuous. And yeah, still resilient, they still try to live. I have seen examples, I don't want to change the subject about Gaza Strip, but actually I've seen people trying to make a living for themselves on the sea line. They make a shack of tin, and they put 2 chairs in front of it, and they call it like, you know, call it Riviera Beach, or they call it Palm Beach. This is the spirit of life, that you defy everything around you. People, the roads are potted. You cannot really, car cannot really go few meters without pumping, because the bombs are falling all the time on the roads, and people use all kinds of transport. Bicycles, 2 bicycles are combined into a little car, a donkey drawn car, everything, but they still live and fight, and they fight. They keep Israel at bay in 2014 for 51 days. So when we actually look at the evidence collected by our friends here, you can see another one. Her name is Taliba Muhammad Fouda. She witnessed the massacre in Majd al-Krum, and she said they called us to the square. They separated men aside and women and children in a corner. They lined up a dozen young men and sprayed them with machine guns. Then they lined another dozen. A Jewish man speaking fluent Arabic called for Hajj Abed, who was apparently targeted in the village files they collected before, and they killed him and burnt his house. They loaded us, women and children, in a bus, the old men in another bus, they took us to a Jewish colony where the crowd spat on us, laughing and gesturing at us like slaves in a cage. That was 1948, but this is happening now. I mean, they pick people and they kill them at random, random for us, but not random for them. They call people saying, we are watching you. You know, I just can't believe. I mean, we hear about Gaza all the time, but when I see it in my own eyes, the rubble of the huge high-rise buildings, people with their ingenuity, they move them into a place and make them a breakwater for a new harbor, although the sea is within 100 meters from me here, you cannot go very far. The Israeli Navy, whatever they call it, they just shoot them at random. There is no, now also I see many European and Japanese aid agencies here, and they are doing a very good job. They are helping people. But look what they are helping. They are building a nice building for, I visited something called Medical Relief Agency, and they have a nice building, and they pay salaries for people, meager salaries, of course, to help health and other things. But the key question of this, all these European countries in the world, they watch people killed here and they give them band-aid. The dead are buried, but the injured, they give them band-aid. But why don't you go to the killer and stop the killer from doing that? Why do you keep giving people band-aid when the killer and serial killer is doing this every day, in every way? The water we drink sometimes, many people cannot afford it, but if people afford it, they buy bottles. The salt content in this is unbelievable. I went yesterday to see Wadi Gaza, which we knew to be Wadi, a small river, and it is a sewage track left there because the Israelis block the water coming from up north, and they dump all the sewage towards Gaza. So this is a living Nakba, and it is not really. I can't go anymore. Anyway, this is what I want to tell you.
Thanks, Salman. I know that we want to leave time for discussion. I know that we also wanted to read a few excerpts from the book just to give the audience a sense of the voices that we're mediating through this text. And I don't know if, Lena, would you like to read a little bit from Ismail Shamut's interview, and then maybe Mahmoud? I can forego reading from Fifi's because I think we may not have time. Salman, did you have a section of interview that you wanted to read? I know you actually read some.
Yes.
Just now. Was there something?
As I mentioned, I mentioned briefly, but I don't think I can continue because Taliban, for example, mentioned the massacre of Majd al-Krum. We have analyzed 156 massacres in 1948 in detail, forensic study, and we found their location and the region, of course, and village. Each village was affected. Also, we identified which brigade, Israeli brigade, out of the 9 brigades, including 120,000 soldiers in 31 military operations, and tried to relate the brigade and the military operation and the location of the village and the time of the village and the massacre which took place. We found complete correlation between the massacres described by Taliban, for example, and the expulsion of people, because the massacres, all of them took place after the Israelis occupied the village. There was no military reason to commit that massacre. After they took over the village completely, there is no resistance. They started killing people house by house or killing them at random in the street. And in one case, for example, they have picked a woman with a child and they split the child's head with an axe and told her to go and tell other people about it. This took place in Abu Shusha in Ramla and took also place in Adawaima and other places. We found exact patterns of the massacres as described by witnesses everywhere. It's absolute lie that Benny Morris says it's an accident of war. It is reproduced in every single place. Out of 31 military operations done by 9 brigades on 156, the pattern of the massacres is the same for the purpose of getting rid of the people. When they finish killing people, the remaining people, they point them towards an Arab side not yet occupied, and the soldiers are standing in 2 lines and force the people to go along that line and shoot their feet or their heads to force them to leave and go somewhere else. And Lena must have found this in Lidda. Lidda Death March is very well known. It's the same story, but it's repeated in every little village like that.
Maybe Lena could also, just because I'm a little bit conscious of time, not to interrupt you, Salman, but I think maybe
no, that's
maybe
my point.